Good afternoon. This is Kash Jackson with Restoring Freedom. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a retired United States Navy veteran after 20 years of honorable Navy service. Retired 31 August 2016. I'm currently 11 days away from incarceration / status of purge hearing here in Lake County, Illinois. I'm due to be incarcerated because I have an average $2,500 a month child support order, which I have been unable to completely fulfill since I was on active duty Navy. Whenever I made $70,000 a year, I was still falling further and further behind each month. And I had informed the Judge Joseph Salvi of the 19th Judicial Circuit Court, that would be the case because there was no way, based on my current circumstances and finances, could I afford a support order that much. And in the state of Illinois, you cannot change or request to change your child support order unless you have what they consider a significant change in circumstances. Well, whenever I retired from the United States Navy on 31 August 2016, I have since submitted 2 separate motions requesting to modify based on change of circumstances. I have chosen to, number one, be a stay-at-home dad because I deployed and was gone. I missed a lot of my children's lives for 20 years, and I'd like to be a stay-at-home dad. And secondly, I have chosen to be an activist. Whenever I'm not being an active father, I've chosen to be an activist to fight for constitutional and human rights, which is why I founded Restoring Freedom. Now, I have been paying child support to the sum of over $900 a month. But that still apparently is not enough. Apparently over $900 a month to somebody who makes an average of $85,000 a year still is not enough. And I still have to provide for my own home, my own transportation, food, utilities, and everyday expenses. I am an active father. I pick up my children 3 days a week after school. I go to their activities, which is taekwondo and gymnastics. So I pick them up, take them to, and then take them to their mother's home. And I'm also very involved with any activities that they have at school. So I make sure that I attend any functions, Halloween parties, Valentine parties, you name it. Field trips if I can. Whatever I can attend at school, I do that as well. So I'm a very involved father who wants to be actively engaged in raising my children. Now, today, why not? Hey, today I'm 11 days out from incarceration, so let's do something different. Many of you guys know who Trey Gowdy is. And if you don't know Trey, he is a legislator from out of South Carolina. He's a bulldog of sorts. If you've never watched Trey Gowdy in action, I encourage you to do so because he really holds people's feet to the fire. And he does a lot of different oversight. He was heavily involved in the investigation with Benghazi and the questioning of Hillary Clinton and, in her office at that time, whenever Benghazi unfolded. So today I'm going to go ahead and give their Washington, D.C. office a call, see what happens, leave a message. I feel certain I won't be directly tied into Trey Gowdy, but hopefully I can talk to somebody in his office and maybe relay some information about what's occurring in our country. So let's just see what happens. Let's give Mr. Trey Gowdy's office a phone call here in Washington, D.C. Here we go.
Washington, D.C. office of Congressman Trey Gowdy, representing the 4th District of South Carolina. If you are a constituent of the 4th District of South Carolina, please press 1. If you are not from the 4th District of South Carolina but have comments for Congressman Gowdy, please press 2. If you know the name of the party you are trying to reach, please press 3. Thank you for calling. Please leave a message after the tone. Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Good afternoon. My name is Kash Jackson. I am a 20-year retired United States Navy veteran. I'm currently facing incarceration in Lake County, Illinois. And while this is not Congressman Trey Gowdy's district, I do understand that Trey Gowdy spends much of his time in oversight and looking into corruption within our government. And it is my firm belief that the American people are being defrauded of their right to parent their children, while also being criminally held in debtors' prisons illegally in the United States. I am due to be incarcerated in 11 days after my 20 years of United States Naval service because I cannot afford a $2,500 a month child support order, and I do currently pay nearly $1,000 a month. And my question for Mr. Trey Gowdy is, why does the federal government provide a federal incentive through Title 4D of the Social Security Act as a financial incentive to the states to take my children from me, reduce me to a visitor to justify a child support order that cannot reasonably be afforded? I would ask that Mr. Trey Gowdy please give me a call at 847-276-0378 so I can inform him on how Title 4D of the Social Security Act is adversely affecting myself, my fellow Americans, and those that he represents in the 4th District of South Carolina. Thank you and have a nice day. Might as well try the South Carolina office too, right? Let's try one more, see what happens. So we're going to try, well, he's got apparently two offices in South Carolina, Greenville and Spartanburg. If anybody from South Carolina knows which one he might be at, that would be awesome. But I'll just work my way down the list. Let's call Greenville, South Carolina. And if you guys have not seen one fellow member within the family law reform movement, Paul Andreas out of South Dakota, was taken into custody today during I believe a no-knock raid for back child support, and if I'm not mistaken, for just a little over $2,000. The action, to my understanding, was not initiated by the mother. It was initiated by the state. And so the state has, once again, taken Paul Andreas into custody, conducting a no-knock raid on his home there in South Dakota. And apparently he's pretty banged up. There are reports of possibly fractured ribs and a busted up face. Exactly what unfolded is yet to be determined. And I'll keep you posted as I find out more about that situation. So now I'm going to go ahead and call this Greenville office. We need there we go.
Calling the Washington, D.C. office of Congressman Trey Gowdy, representing the 4th District of South Carolina.
It was the same phone number, or I'm sorry, different phone number, same recording. It said it was Washington, D.C., but it's 864, which is Greenville, South Carolina, not 202, which is Washington, D.C. So it must directly forward right to the D.C. number. I'll try the Spartanburg office as well. Yes, Roger, they do conduct no-knock raids to round up deadbeat parents. I've seen that done in other states as well. California, I think Arkansas, Oklahoma. I've seen several states where they do that. Let's try this one. Probably do the same thing, watch. Amen to that, Daniel Ramsey. Yeah, Trey Gowdy's a prosecutor. Well, didn't go straight to voicemail. If this doesn't work, I'm going to try some legislators here in my district too.
Calling the Spartanburg office of Congressman Trey Gowdy. able to take your call as we are all helping other constituents. Please leave a message and we will get back to you.
All right. I'm not going to leave a message on that one. I am not a constituent of the 4th District, but that doesn't mean that I won't. All right, Daniel, you want me to try that one? Here, I'll try that. Yeah, we can try Jason Chavez. He's about the same. Oh, shoot. Hold on. 1202. We'll try a different one. Jason Chavez. He's a bulldog of sorts too.
Congressman Chaffet's office. How can I help you?
Good afternoon. My name's Kash Jackson. How are you doing today?
Good, doing well, Mr. Jackson. How can I help you today?
Well, I wanted to see, I'm really trying to get in touch with a couple of congressmen, Jason being one of them and Trey Gowdy being the other one, because I respect those men and what they do. I am not a constituent of Jason's. However, I'm a concerned American citizen that respects what Jason does in our legislature, and I would like to think that he might be able to help me out in a situation that myself and other Americans are facing.
Sure, we really appreciate your comments and suggestions. May I ask what those issues are? Concerns?
Yes, you may, and thank you for asking. So, I am a retired United States Navy veteran. I retired after 20 years of naval service just a few months ago. And my thanks from my country after my retirement is to incarcerate me into a debtor's prison in approximately 11 days. And I'm wondering, does Mr. Chavez or Mr. Trey Gowdy, are they aware of the debtor's prisons that are being ran in our country illegally, as well as the federal funding that is incentivizing the states to take children like mine from me, reduce me down to a visitor to my children, to justify a child support order that is a performance-based system that provides a federal financial incentive to the state that goes directly to their general fund and is then untraceable from therein. And so I believe that there is fraud and corruption wrought through the family court system that is illegally stealing millions of children from their parents while also illegally incarcerating them to receive a financial incentive from the federal government. And I don't appreciate...
Yes, sir. So why is it untraceable?
Well, because it goes right into the general fund. And then where that money directly goes to is anybody's guess.
I see what you mean. Okay.
So my taxpayer, or the money that I paid into Social Security, number one, as a, and that's not a, you know as well as I do that Social Security is not some sort of a welfare program. That's for men and women who worked throughout their lives and paid into that system. So they earned their Social Security, as did I. And my Social Security money that I paid into is being illegally sent to the states and state organizations to incentivize the taking of children at the detriment to our country and our citizens. And I'm very disturbed that nobody in Congress has made light of this situation, given that there's over 20 million American children growing up without a biological father currently.
I see. So you're saying that the legal system is doing things that are, in your opinion, is doing things that are illegal.
No, ma'am, not in my opinion. That is factual. They are ignoring the Constitution. As a matter of fact, the judge in my case looked me right in the eye and specifically told me when I was standing there in uniform that he was punishing me for expressing my First Amendment rights, which he followed through with, and he prevented me from seeing my children because I speak out against the corruption of the judicial system in my county. I was actually punished, and in fact, I'm still ongoing in that punishment in that I've only had, I'm not permitted more than one overnight or two overnights in a month with my own children. And I've never been charged or convicted with any crime other than loving my kids.
I am sorry to hear about that. Do you know which judge that is?
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's Judge Joseph Salvi, S-A-L-V-I, of the 19th Judicial Circuit here in Illinois. But I'm one of millions of parents that this is occurring to throughout the country.
Even mothers.
even mothers. And so I'm calling on behalf of all American citizens that are concerned with this issue that is going unaddressed in this country. And I fully intend on making myself present outside Mr. Chavez's office and also Mr. Gowdy's office in my dress blue uniform in full medals with an inverted American flag to signal the distress of the American people. But I would rather I just got a phone call from Mr. Chavez. That would be much easier than me flying to his office.
Yes, yes. After all, it is a bit further away. Let me relay this concern to him, and I will let you know what his responses are regarding the issue.
Okay, well, typically and I'll just go ahead and tell you what typically we're told as parents. Normally we're told it's not a federal issue, it's a state issue. So let me go ahead and cut that off at the pass, because the federal government is providing the federal incentive through Title IV-D, as in Delta, of the Social Security Act, to the states. So it's very much a federal issue, especially since the Supreme Court has ruled on multiple occasions that the parent-child relationship is one that cannot be infringed upon by the state, absent the state having a compelling interest, and that is showing immediate harm to the children. And in most cases, that's certainly not the case, such as mine.
I see what you mean.
So it is absolutely a federal issue and a state issue. It's combined. And so I would encourage Jason to please look at the details of that, and that, yes, while I may be a resident of Illinois, I'm an American citizen who should enjoy the constitutional protections that men and women fought and died for. And I really hope that I can get a phone call back from him.
Yeah, this is a very distressing issue. I am sorry to hear that.
Yes, ma'am, especially since my children are completely unaware that their father is due to be incarcerated in 11 days unless I pay the debtor's purge of $3,700 to the state of Illinois.
Wait, so if you don't pay those, you are...
I will be incarcerated on January 20th, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, my advice to you is, for right now, I know you're against it, but I will certainly forward this to Congressman Chase's office to see what we can do. We definitely do not wish to see you in jail or in prison. Yeah.
Well, I would love to show Mr. Chavez some information that because I know that he's a family man. I've seen his pictures and followed him. I'm not a stalker, but I am a fan of his. So I know he's a family man. And I think if Mr. Chavez was aware of the survey that was conducted in cooperation with the Veterans Administration and the Office of Child Support Enforcement, directly correlating veteran homelessness and suicide with that of the unreasonable child support orders set from the state, and making us fight uphill for our military service to try and be parents to our children. And that is a direct correlation with the high rate of homeless veteranness in our country, which can also be directly attributed to our high suicide rate of over 22 a day.
Yeah, that is a very serious issue. I will relate this.
Okay.
And is your phone number... Hello?
Yeah, are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's 847
Okay.
276
Okay.
0378.
All right. I have that down right now. Thank you so much for your concern.
Thank you for your time today, ma'am.
Have a good day. Bye.
See what happens. You never know. Maybe I'll do another one. What do you say? Let's try a local legislator. Let's see what I get out of them. Because I've tried to set appointments and they were canceled before, and there was a lot of hit and miss there. But let's try one more time. Let's try my local representative here, Melinda Bush. Let's try her office. I've actually met Melinda. I talked to her in person. She told me she was very concerned about my situation some time ago. sent her my information and have been unsuccessful, but I have to take onus. I have not really pursued it more to try and make sure I had this meeting with her. So let's see if I can get her office on the line. Let's give it a shot. You guys got a minute? We'll give it a shot. I'm sorry it keeps freezing up. Oh, man, you know what? I might not be in her office anymore. I moved. I'm in a different area right now. Yeah, I have went to her office in person. I sure have. That's a good point, April Cutler. Yeah, I don't think Melinda Bush is in my area anymore. Hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, because I recently moved here a few months ago. So I need to look at... I got to look at... well, it looks like there's a couple different ones here. Bill Hammonds. Well, screw it. Illinois Congressional District 14. What the hell? I got some weird shit here. Yeah, it might be able to. So, anyways, yeah, I could contact her anyhow. But let's try one here out of my local district here. Looks like we got a Randy. Looks like this guy's a House representative, Congressman Randy Holtgren. Yeah, his picture's familiar. Well, screw it. Let's just give this guy a call. He's in Illinois anyhow. Let me go to the office page. Washington, D.C. Let's see here. Campton Hills, Illinois. Where the hell is that? I don't even know where that's at. Yeah. Looks like I'm in his area. So let's see. Let's give him a call. Here we go. St. Charles, Illinois. Some irony in that, as a matter of fact. What was his name?
Good afternoon, Congressman Holtgren's office. This is Katrina speaking. How can I help you?
Good afternoon, Katrina. My name is Kash Jackson. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I wish I could say I'm great, but that would be a bold-faced lie, so I'm going to be honest with you and say not well.
Okay, what can I do for you?
Well, I would like to speak with my congressman. I'm I'm one of his constituents. I live in Antioch, Illinois, so I'm a little north of his office there.
Okay.
But just a quick background: I retired from the United States Navy after 20 years, just a few months ago, and I'm perplexed that in the state of Illinois and in my district of the 19th Judicial Circuit, that they're still operating debtors' prisons at which I'm due to be incarcerated in 11 days. And that is my thanks from the state of Illinois for 20 years of naval service.
Okay.
And I would like to speak to my congressman directly about why our judiciary is still illegally running debtors' prisons within his district.
Okay. Can I have your first and last name?
Oh, you sure can. Yes, ma'am. It's Kash with a K.
So Kash?
Yes, ma'am. Jackson.
All right. Jackson as it's spelled with an O-N?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're from Antioch. Can I have your zip code?
60002.
0002. All right. And you said you're due to be incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am. I'm due to be incarcerated in 11 days because I have not been financially been able to reimburse for child care activities, child care for my children, which I've offered to do, and the state of Illinois has denied me that with no plausible explanation. as well as for non-reimbursement for taekwondo and gymnastics for my 2 children.
Okay.
And because I cannot financially afford a $2,500 a month child support order in this state, which is insanely unreasonable.
Okay.
But I have been paying to the tune of nearly $1,000 per month. In fact, they're garnishing over 3 times the legal amount out of my retirement check. Even though I have filed 2 separate motions to try and reduce that amount based on my current income levels. And they have both been stricken. Both of my motions were stricken. I'm a pro se litigant because I wasted over $40,000 on attorneys. And now I have to represent myself. And because I don't know all of the ins and outs or details of the rules of civil procedure of my county, I've done my due diligence, but the state of Illinois sees to ignore Supreme Court case law, which says that I'm not supposed to be held to the same high standard as a practicing attorney. And I've been doing my best with the state, but there's a bias within our state which exists, and I believe that I have been discriminated against, and I believe that I have a 1983 civil rights violation lawsuit that could press forward due to the egregious discrimination within our state.
Okay. Well, Cash, I have your entire issue logged. And did you want anyone to follow up with you on this?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I do. And I would encourage them to do so before I am incarcerated on January 20th. Because then I'll be unavailable for approximately 30 days to 6 months.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling, Cash.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Documented. It's recorded right here on Facebook. You guys all heard the conversation. So they can't say, did you contact your local legislator? Yes, I did. Who should I contact next? Maybe the mayor's office. You think? Maybe the mayor of Antioch. Yeah, she did, Jonathan. I picked up on that. Yeah, I gave her my number. I gave her my number. Oh no, did I give the other one? Did I give her my number? Son of a bitch, I didn't. Did I give her my number? I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the video. Or was it just the previous one I gave the number to? Oh, man. Hey, well, let me call him right back. That's a good point. Hey, where were you guys on that one, man? There should be like a little bell or whistle or something you guys can hit. Like, hey, dummy-o, give her your number. Let me call her right back.
Office, this is Carol.
Yes, ma'am. I had just called and realized I did not give you guys my phone number for my case.
Oh, okay, and what's your name?
Kash Jackson with a K.
Cass Johnson, did you say?
No, Jackson.
Johnson.
Just like Action Jackson.
Did you just talk to Katrina?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Can you spell your name again for me, please? Sorry.
Kash with a K.
I don't know what you're saying. K-O-S-H?
No, cash, like money. K-A-S-H.
Oh, K-A-S-H. Okay, and what's your last name?
Jackson.
Jackson?
Yes, like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Action Jackson.
Oh, I get it. All right, and what's your phone number?
847
Uh-huh.
276
Okay.
0378.
Okay. So, yeah, she was just, she's relatively new here in our office, and she was just explaining to me your situation. And I don't know, what is it exactly you would like for us to do?
Well, number one, I think that as my congressman, that he has a responsibility to his constituents to ensure that he addresses any concerns that they may have. And when a large voting base of his is being adversely affected by the judicial system, he absolutely has a duty as someone who swears to uphold the Constitution to address these issues.
Yeah, well, it doesn't quite work that way. Number one, you're not totally. That's not totally accurate, because the way our democracy is set up, we have a judicial branch, we have a legislative branch, and executive branch.
Right.
We do not get involved in the judicial branch at all. We are only on the legislative branch, and we do help assist constituents with who might have issues with the federal agency, but not on the judicial side of it.
Oh, well, I do have a problem with the legislator, and I do have a problem with the federal portion of it.
Okay, what is that?
Well, the issue is that the federal government is providing a federal financial incentive to the state, which is known as Title 4D of the Social Security Act. Or if you have a CPS case, it would be Title 4E as an echo of the Social Security Act. They provide a monetary incentive to the states to remove our children from us to justify a child support order. And when the state enforces that order, it's a performance-based system, and then the state gets funding through Title 4D or E, depending on the case. So it's absolutely a federal case because that's where it actually begins. I would probably be considered a fit and willing parent, and we would have a presumption of 50-50 equal custody in this state if there wasn't a financial incentive to take one parent and reduce them down to a visitor to their children like what they've done to me.
Yeah, well, now you're talking about a state issue.
No, ma'am, this is a federal issue.
No.
If there's a federal financial incentive from the state.
Yeah, but that's just your opinion.
No, that's not opinion. That's fact, and I can bring the facts to your office.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If it would be easier for my representative for me to get this information to him, I will gladly come down to his office and stand outside his office in my dress blue uniform and full medals with an inverted American flag to signal my distress and that of the American people, and his complacency and his office's complacency with addressing these issues, even though you're trying to tell me I'm giving you an opinion when I'm telling you I can forward you the facts. So you can choose for yourself in your office. Would you rather be on the news with me in my dress blue uniform, or would you rather have him pick up the phone and give me a call? Take your pick.
Well, I feel right now that we're being threatened.
No, I'm not threatening you. I'm promising you that I will come to your office.
There's no reason to come to our office.
There is when you're not addressing my issue.
Well, that's a threat.
No, a threat is one of imminent harm. I didn't threaten you. I said I'm going to come to your office.
There's no reason to come to our office because there's nothing we can do to help you.
Your unwillingness to look at facts, even though I want to present them to you, is showing me your inability or lack of want to help your constituents, which is very much not appreciated. Because that's not what my taxpayer dollars are for, I promise you that.
You need a lawyer, and if whenever the judge has ruled that you owe in child support, there's nothing we are going to be able to do to assist you with that matter.
I didn't ask you to assist me with that matter. I want to be assisted with the legislative part of that matter.
And what would that be?
That would be for our state to no longer receive Title 4D or E funding. Or to allocate those funds appropriately in a non-discriminatory way that doesn't adversely affect parents and children.
Well, then you need to take that up with your state rep.
Well, it begins with the federal, so that's where he comes in. He is my rep.
I mean, it's both. We don't handle
anything about that, but we do not handle any legislation in this office. We only assist people who are having issues with the federal government.
I just explained my issues with the federal government. Title 4D of the Social Security Act. That is a federal financial incentive.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just not able to answer that question. I don't know anything about the incentives. I seriously doubt if there's a precedent for people to automatically adjust child compensation because of the incentive. I just don't know.
I know, and that's why I want to show my representative how that works, because I understand the ignorance of most legislators. They don't understand that.
We would not be able to help you in this office with that.
What exactly does he do then? What is it exactly that he does when he goes to Washington, D.C.?
Well, he is a member of the House of Representatives.
Okay, and what does he represent? What does he do in the House? Is he on any subcommittees? What is it that he does?
He's on the Finance Committee and he's on the Science and Technology Committee.
Well, I think the Finance Committee would be a very important one, because we're talking about financing from the federal government to the state.
Yeah, but your issue does not fall under Finance Committee. I don't know.
Well,
we don't deal with that in this office. They do all of that in DC. So you'd have to call out there if you're trying to find out the understanding for a piece of legislation, or if you want to change legislation or change the law, you'd have to call out to our DC office for that.
Okay, what is the local office for then?
We help people who have issues with a particular federal agency.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I gotta go. I gotta go spend my taxpayer dollars more wisely than what you guys do. But thank you for your time today.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Wait. Turn around and let me know. Go. Let me know. You got empty-handed. You got a full bag. Sorry about that. Door was locked. All right. Mind-blowing, right? Mind-blowing. This is what we deal with, though, to try and get anything done. So we're going to do this again tomorrow. I got to run. Kids are here. So deuces. Love you guys. 11 days out. Talk to y'all later.